Hello guys, welcome to the Inspiration and Enlightenment Slow Talk. This is a part of a series in which I compare and synchronize enlightenment and psychology. This is a series about the ego, our temporary identification that we assume during incarnations. With a clear understanding of the ego tribe, we can now look at some of the psychological issues we have. More or less, we all have psychological issues. Yeah? It's just that in some people it becomes more obvious than in others, because the ego is undeveloped in most of us and still has a long way to go. So let's take OCD for example, obsessive compulsory disorder. OCD is caused by so-called intrusive thoughts. Thoughts that intrude the mind and then capture the mind and conquer the mind. I believe that all thoughts, all new thoughts are more or less intrusive. Just remember, whenever you get a new idea, your mind is fully occupied by that idea. And some ideas are very, very powerful. For example, communism started as an idea, as an intrusive idea. Fascism started as an intrusive idea. Populism started as an intrusive idea and was even able not to occupy a few people's mind, but a critical mass of people in society. So more or less, we all have the challenge of facing intrusive thoughts, and we all have some kind of an OCD going on, more or less. But in some people it becomes obvious, and I think that's the border between so-called normal people and so-called people with so-called disorders. And there are three distinctions. First of all, it becomes obvious. They cannot hide it anymore. Secondly, it might be harmful for them. And third, that it might be harmful for others or society. So I believe the difference between a normal person and a person with disorders is quantitative, not qualitative. So with a clear understanding of the ego tribe, we can now look at some of the psychological issues. According to the Encyclopedia of Medical Health, there are more than 200 classified forms of disorders, which is a lot. And it means that our internal life and our ego is a complicated affair. Yeah. So here's a list of the most common disorders. There's anxiety disorder and OCD, obsessive compulsory disorder. Then there's depression and bipolar disorder. Then there are personality disorders, paranoid, schizoid, schizotypal, and so on. There is PTSD, the post-traumatic stress disorder, psychotic disorders, which cause abnormal thinking and perceptions. And people with psychosis, they lose touch to reality. And I'm sure you heard of schizophrenia. And then there's dementia. That's when there's a physical problem with the brain. Allow me to reclassify these disorders a little. I don't want to change the psychological classification. It's just to have a simple big picture and a classification that normal people can use for orientation, like a big picture. And I want to also map it to the Enlightenment psychology model. So let me show you a picture. So there are problems with the body and the brain, physical problems, and then you get illnesses like dementia, for example. Then the mind, if the mind is impacted, for example by a trauma, you get psychotic disorders or PTSD. If the ego is affected, you get personality disorders. Depression, I believe, is a mix of mind issues, yes, there might be traumas, and bodily mental energy problems. I will go into that in more detail. If the sphere of emotions is affected, you get anxiety disorders and OCD. So this is simple classification. If you experience a symptom of a disorder, I recommend consulting a therapist. Explanatory and self-help videos and books like this one, they are just like supplements. Supplements are good, but they can't replace healthy food. Self-help is good, but it can't replace professional therapy. And I don't think of therapy as treatment. Therapy for me is the same thing as going to the gym. It's a mental workout, and just think of your therapist as a coach. Now, I believe that actually every person should go to therapy, and therapy should include enlightenment. That's why I like positive psychology. It goes beyond treatment of disorders. I'll link to positive psychology in the video description. So let's have a closer look at some of the ego issues, the ego disorders, and how our knowledge of the tribe can help with those. Mind that there is also a therapy for this. I already mentioned it in a previous video. That's the internal family therapy. I will link to that again. I believe that sense of separation, the sense that we are alone in this world, is the root cause of all our issues, personal, relationship-wise, and social. The sense of separation is an illusion that helps the soul to acquire self-consciousness. But if we believe that the illusion is real, then we get a delusion. Delusion causes fear, fear causes anger, and anger causes violence. The sense of separation manifests in many ways. We feel separated from other souls, from the higher self, from purpose, from success, things like that. And that causes many fears, and that causes many forms of anger. For this reason, all enlightenment traditions have love and union at their core. Jesus' number one rule was to love everybody and everything with all your heart. And yoga means union. The sense of separation will prevail as long as our soul is on its heroic journey. Even illumination, the experience of the higher self, and the oneness of souls that comes with it, will not yet put an end to this illusion. But we will be able to perceive both, the union of life and the separation of life, whereby the separation of life now turns into a sense of splendor. We see the positive side of it, the beauty of splendor. And so how to deal with the sense of separation in the meantime? First we should understand that it's an illusion, and we need to become cognitive and emotionally aware of the unity of life. So let me give you a few thoughts that help with bringing the union of life to conscious attention. So first of all, nature is a great collaboration. And evolution, or most of evolution, proceeds through cooperations. The survival of the fittest, which has been so emphasized in the last century, is only a small effect of evolution. Just think of your body. It's started with one cell, and now it's a corporation of trillions of cells. A corporation. In nature, cooperation is all over the place. Symbiosis, multicell organisms, even an ecosystem, which includes eaten and being eaten. Even that is a collaboration. Secondly, we are all connected through subconsciousness and continuously exchange thoughts, feelings, emotions, and imaginations. That's the telepathic noise. I wrote a blog post about that, and I will link to that as well. Now, on the soul level, we are even more deeply connected. All souls are brothers and sisters. It's one huge, universal, cosmic nation. And then we need to understand, keep in mind that mankind, mankind is the greatest business in the universe. And all of us, we partake in this grand business. Last but not least, our ego is not alone. It is a tribe or a family. And your tribe is made of heroes, if you so will. There's a pioneer in you, and this guy is able to raise empires. And he has done so in the past through other people. And then there's an artist in you. This artist has painted the Mona Lisa through another person in the past. There's a scientist in you. And that guy discovered the theory of relativity through another person. And there is a mother in you who raised 100 billion children. You're in great company. At the moment, we can't live with the common ego, but we can't live without it either. So at the moment, the ego is a bit of a necessary evil. Good news, we can evolve it. Have you heard of the German idiom, vanquish your inner pig dog? Pig dog means asshole or jerk. And the phrase inner pig dog denotes a lazy ego, or an ego that falls into laziness and prevents a person from performing necessary but unpleasant tasks. The Germans like to use that idiom in sport. So vanquishing your inner pig dog means pushing beyond the pain barrier and the breaking point. In art, the inner pig dog or inner bitch is known as the procrastinator. So what is actually happening here? Who's the inner pig dog and who vanquishes him? Usually the alpha ego is the pig dog. The alpha ego isn't built for every role we play in life. We already had that. In fact, the alpha ego can be pretty bad at certain tasks. So when it is confronted with a task he lacks the talent for and motivation for, he turns into the inner pig dog. So, for example, writers have a huge issue with that guy, with their alpha ego. And after they wrote their book, they need to publish it, and then they need to market it. And if they don't find a publisher, they need to self-publish it. Self-publishing, what does it mean? You need to do book design, you need to create a book exterior and interior, but the writer's alpha ego is not a designer. It's an artist and craftsman. Much worse when it comes to book marketing. Book marketing is a cold-hearted intellectual business. So the alpha ego, the writer, the creative artist, when it comes to self-publishing and book marketing, he will turn into the procrastinator. A similar thing can happen when someone goes into business for himself. Usually the alpha ego used to be an executive working for somebody else. Not only may his natural talent to be an executive rather than leading other people, but the alpha ego has also been trained in execution. But in order to run a startup, one needs the inner entrepreneur and pioneer, a very driven and intentional, adventurous and brave guy. And that guy may not have seen the light of day yet. So what follows is procrastination and very immature business ideas. So how can you overcome the inner bitch? If you're aware of the fact that your ego is a tribe, you can consciously call forth other tribe members that are better suited for the job. And you give your alpha ego a break. If you put it like that, the alpha male will not be scared to lose his position, and maybe he wouldn't even mind, to take a break. But be aware the new guy needs education, coaching, and training. So if you struggle with resistance in particular, I can recommend a book. It's called The War of Art, and I link to that in the video description. Why do New Year's resolutions don't work, or resolutions in general? Because one tribe member makes the resolution, another tribe member breaks it. Let's take smoking for example. Which tribe member smokes? It may not necessarily be the alpha male. In fact, it rarely is the alpha male. People smoke maybe because they are frustrated. And which tribe members are frustrated? Yeah, of course, those who haven't seen the light yet, who haven't had the experience yet they wanted to have, and naturally feel suppressed. Okay. So you need to find out who's actually smoking and why. And then when you know why, you can give that tribe member the experiences it needs to have. Many psychological issues stem from unfulfilled subconscious needs, and that's what psychoanalysis is all about, to bring subconscious needs to the conscious attention. So the alpha ego owns your conscious wants, and your subconscious tribe members own your subconscious needs. And since your subconscious tribe members are immature, they often have immature or even negative subconscious needs. Let me introduce you to Claire. Claire is a nice, outgoing and happy woman. At the moment she's single and she feels lonely. Her alpha woman decides to get a lover, a caring, funny and romantic guy. That's what she likes. That's her conscious want. However, one of the other tribe members has the subconscious need to be abused and is secretly on the lookout for an abusive man. Now Claire goes clubbing to find a lover. Subconsciousness connects her to Paul, an abusive man who exhibits all the qualities her alpha female consciously desires. He looks like he's caring, funny and romantic. Probably a super nice guy at first. He eventually reveals his abusive side. And of course Claire's alpha female is shocked and she breaks up with him. And then Claire goes clubbing again. This time subconsciousness connects her to Rick, a nice non-abusive guy. Over time Claire's tribe member, who has the need to be abused, realizes that she won't get that from Rick. So while Claire consciously likes Rick for giving her what she wants, the subconscious tribe member dislikes Rick for not giving her what she needs. And the result is anger. Freud said humans have a strange capacity to love and hate someone at the same time, and the result is anger. So Claire will find herself getting angry at Rick for tiny and no apparent reason. And little by little she will push Rick away. Or rather her the subconscious tribe member will push him away. So how to deal with such a situation, that you have a conscious want and a subconscious need that contradict and fight each other? So of course the first step is to discover the unconscious need, and the second step is to acknowledge it. Yeah, okay, I have this need. It sucks, but I have it. Yeah, and I think it also helps if we acknowledge the tribe member who has that need. Who is it? Is it the mother? Is it the pioneer? Is it the adventurer, or whoever? So we also know the nature of experience that is missing here. And the third step then is to live out that negative need. Yeah. So Claire will needs to find a safe environment in which she can experience abuse. But the fourth step would be to understand the essence of that subconscious need and find its positive pole or antipode. So what is the essence of abuse? The essence of abuse is surrender to power, or the need to, or the wish to surrender to power. And surrendering to an external physical power leads to physical abuse. Surrender to an external intellectual power would lead to intellectual abuse. So what is the positive expression of surrender to power? Surrender to an internal one, the higher self, the only being in all the world we should ever surrender to. And what is the antonym of abuse then? Service to the higher self. So if you pursue enlightenment, you will find many guided meditations that declare the ego a servant or instrument of the higher self. And it has a little negative ring to it, I believe. So I usually replace the term servant with the term executive. So me, I, the ego, is an executive of the higher self. In conclusion, subconscious needs come from unfulfilled tribe members, and you need to understand which tribe member is unfulfilled and then give them what they need. And when you do that, the tribe is quiet and your alpha male can have a peace of mind. Thank you for watching this episode of the Inspiration and Enlightenment Slow Talk. Please help spreading the light with a like and a share, and don't forget to subscribe. Love and light.